We are inside the hoop house. It's not even 9 o'clock yet. The sun hasn't even tipped over the trees over there, so it's still pretty cool in here. It's 45 degrees. I think the low tonight was, or this morning, whatever, was like 40. But we are 1 week from our last frost date, and I can look at my calendar all the way up until like November 3rd, and we don't have any temperatures below the mid 40s. I already had planted out one bed of tomatoes in this hoop house, and yesterday I went through and yesterday I went through and laid out the rest of the tomatoes that I want to plant inside this hoop house. This year I planted, well, in the last 3 beds, I planted all paste tomato varieties. I planted 2 of each paste tomato varieties. And then with the exception of Triple Crop and I think Grand Marshal, those are not paste tomatoes, but I did plant them. But the rest of the 11 varieties I'm planting in here are all paste tomatoes. I'm planting them in here because I'm hoping that being in here, I can get the most yield out of them, the most harvest, because these are the tomatoes that I want to use to make sauce this coming season. I in the past have not planted paste tomatoes, but this year I made it a mission to plant paste tomatoes so that I can have that specific variety to make some more sauces. I usually don't start making my sauce until like January anyway. So you can see half of the, I don't know if you can see inside there, but half of the bottom fell off because the roots haven't even reached the bottom yet. So I'm just going to transplant this as deep as I can, which is pretty deep obviously because these are raised beds. And with the 2 varieties that I planted, let me see if I can get you down. With the 2 varieties I planted, so I have the name tag here, and then the next one next to it is the same variety. I don't have a lot of time today. Actually, I'm going to a birthday, but it's not for about 2 hours. So I hoped I could get out of here while it was still early and at least get this stuff planted. I want to know what tomatoes, I know I'm gonna have a lot of tomatoes left over, but I want to know which tomatoes I'm going to be able to sell or give away to friends. And so by doing this is all of my paste tomatoes. There's gonna be, I'm planting 32 tomatoes in here, and so any tomatoes of these varieties that I have left over, I know that I can have to sell or give away because I'm not I'm done with those varieties. This is orange icicle. I've never grown this before, but I'm pretty sure it was an orange Roma looking tomato, if I'm not mistaken. And I actually only had 2 of these. So at first I was only going to plant 1, but I was like, why not plant both varieties, or both of them. This one is much smaller than the other one, but I'm sure once I put it in here they'll be able to catch up. I don't know where my shovel is, so I'm using this. Ugh. I pulled the roots out of from this these sugar snap peas, but I haven't pulled off the plants yet, so maybe after I finish planting out this bed I can get these watered in and then pull the sugar snap peas. I've been still finding little potatoes as I move this soil around. I found like 6 already. I was just digging and found one more potato. I tried to leave the roots of the sugar snap peas in here because I figured that since they have, oh wow, I didn't even know I digged up this potato. That's a weird one. I tried to leave the sugar snap peas roots in here because it's good for the roots have little nodules on them that produces nitrogen. This one's called cream sausage. I don't remember what that one looks like. So this one's actually like a yellow-ish paste tomato, which is really cool. I've been planting, let's see, I've been trying to plant the tomatoes these lines right here. When I'm usually outside, I plant them like every other one, and like when I'm using them as a cattle panel outside, and I'm trying to do the same in here, planting them every other one. Ooh. Even though today's supposed to be like, I think 80, what today's? Oh, it's only supposed to go up to 75. I can't wait for the sun to get above those trees because I feel cool. Ooh. More potatoes. I haven't fully decided what I'm gonna plant in front of these tomatoes. Last year, what did I do? I planted tomatoes in the front of the bed instead of the back, and then I planted peppers all throughout the bed. But everything in here ended up dying last year, and this was the only spot. Well, I think I had randomly had like one sweet pepper outside of the hoop house, but basically all of my sweet peppers were inside this hoop house. And then when I left to go to what's that called, on my missionary trip, we had my whole family got sick for that whole week or 10 days I was gone, so they didn't come out here to water, and we had a really bad tour. It was a hurricane or a tropical storm or something like that. And so when I came back, all of my plants in here were like very dehydrated, and it was not fun. So this year I'm not planting my peppers in here. I don't think if I do plant peppers in here, it definitely won't be all of my peppers. I'm going to plant my peppers outdoors where they have a chance with nature. This is the only plant that had like roots going all the way to the bottom. Because I am a forgetful gardener, and sometimes if the rain outside doesn't water my plants, sometimes they don't get water. So I need those peppers to have a fighting chance because there are so many of them. So I'm going to give them their own bed outside, and then if I have any stragglers that I didn't sell or give away, I'll plant probably some in here. I'm not really sure, but we'll see. I got one more bed planted. My fingers are actually pretty cold, even though it's going up, the temperature's going up, but I still feel pretty cold. Okay, I finished planting all of the tomatoes in this hoop house. I'm now going to water them in because some of the beds, mainly this third bed, the soil was really dry. Surprisingly, that's where the sugar snap peas were, but all the other beds were still pretty moist, so the tomatoes are looking great. But in this third bed, the tomatoes are looking a little sad, so I'm gonna water them in, and then we'll see what we're gonna do next. These are the times where I have like other stuff to do, and I'd rather just like spend the whole day getting my garden planted or seeds or whatever I'm trying to do, but I only have like an hour here and there, and I've struggled with that in the past before, and I've shared that if I can't do, it's hindered me a lot in the past, because if I feel like I can't do everything that I want to do all at once, I don't want to do anything. And then in the past, that's like hindered me from like having doing the things that I want to do, even if like, it's like that saying where people say like, how do you eat an elephant, like one bite at a time? And I'm more like, I just want to do it all at one time and get it done and then be done with it. And it doesn't work like that, especially with more responsibilities that I've added into my life. I only have an hour here and there, and so I've had to learn time management. And I keep asking people, like, when people ask for prayer for me, I'm like, time management, because this is what I'm trying to learn, that if I only have an hour here and there, that by being faithful and chopping away at the things that I know I should be doing, and knowing that eventually it will get all done if I just use the time that I have. But if I don't use any of the time that I have and I just don't do anything, then obviously it's not going to get done, and then I'm just going to be disappointed. And so this year I've really tried to implement that. When I know I only have an hour here and there, I'm like, okay, what can I get done in that hour? And so today I looked at all the things I had to do, or that I wanted to do, and I'm like, okay, well, what can I do with the amount of time that I have? And I'm like, okay, I could plant the tomatoes inside the hoop house because I have time for that. The other stuff that I wanted to do, like plant out my Greenstalk with all of my dwarf tomatoes and peppers and stuff like that, I couldn't do right now because I would need more time to, first I have to find all of the varieties because I don't have them separated from just my regular varieties. And then the peppers don't necessarily say they're dwarf. I have to just look at what's good for containers, and so that will take like more time. Where this, I had already laid out the tomatoes I wanted to plant yesterday, and so I knew what tomatoes was going to be going in here, and I can just plant them out. And now we're done, and I did that, and my time's up. And we actually found all of these extra potatoes while I was planting out that bed. I found it's definitely more than 10, probably like 15 more potatoes. I do have like, we're gonna bring these to the goats. I do have like, let me think, 3 or 4 more 5-gallon fabric pots that I'll probably end up using to plant the rest of those potatoes in. But I don't have time to do that right now. After I give this to the goats, it will be my time. It will be time to leave and get ready. I have to change for the birthday party. There's chickens free. They're trying to lay eggs underneath that tree. Okay, guys. We're gonna part ways here. I need my girls to come check underneath that tree. That chicken definitely looks like it's laying eggs there. I don't see any, but she could be laying on them. I'm gonna go ahead and go, and I'll see you guys the next time I'm in the garden, chomping away at whatever's next. Bye, guys.